These reviews are long overdue. Welcome to the series in which I make short 90-second reviews of films that I didn't review when they came out for various reasons. First up, we have the first big release of 2022, and that is The 355. The 355 is a 2022 action film starring Jessica Chastain, Penelope Cruz, and Sebastian Stan. A CIA agent joins forces with 3 other international agents in order to track down a super weapon. Jessica Chastain pitched the idea of a Mission Impossible type of film, but with female leads back in 2018. 4 years later, we finally get to see the film, but its revolutionary idea is revolutionary no more. The agents are played by top female actresses like Jessica Chastain, Penelope Cruz, Bing Bing Fan, Diane Kruger, and Lupita Nyong'o. The story offers unfortunately nothing new to the formula, plus it's overly complicated with plot twists that you could see from a mile away. The action scenes were also at best passable. They had no originality, intensity, or adrenaline. The characters were also not interesting and were very poorly developed. For example, the main character Mace is easily the worst part of the film. The movie is way too long. It's hard for me to criticize the film that much, but I just have to give it to you guys straight. I was watching this film and I thought that it was finished, but it actually had 40 more minutes to go and I almost started crying. The cast act without emotion. I'm a huge fan of Jessica Chastain, but this was one of my least performances of her. I watched it with friends and we at least laughed at its expense. So my recommendation is that you should not give this movie a watch, with a rating of 1 star.
From simple reach of their keyboard.
So we need to join forces.
The next week, Scream was released, a sequel to a very long-running series, but I didn't watch any of the other installments, so I didn't really want to see it. I chose to see the sequel of another very long-running series, and that is Hotel Transylvania Transformania. Hotel Transylvania 4 is a 2022 animation film starring Andy Samberg, Selena Gomez, and Kathryn Hahn. Johnny transforms himself into a monster and all of the other monsters into humans, and now he and Dracula have to find a solution. Drac and Johnny have to find a crystal that is at the end of a very treacherous journey, which was way more fun than it had any right to be. The only problem is that the film tackles the same themes as it always has, which is acceptance. Dracula doesn't trust Johnny to run the hotel. Johnny's angry at that, and he becomes the baddie of the film. And that is very interesting because his turning moment was very hard to predict. His bonding moments with Dracula were also pretty emotional. And while the plot is interesting, there are some gaps into it, so it's best if you do not think too much about it. The animation is top-notch with funny slapstick comedy and great character models. The transformation of monsters into humans also provides a lot of comedic relief. Frankenstein gets turned into a very sexy man, and the scenes where he appears were the funniest to me. The big news from the casting department is that Adam Sandler did not reprise his role as Dracula, but we didn't feel that too much because Brian Holt took up the mantle well. Hotel Transylvania 4 was more fun than I expected, so my recommendation is that you should give this movie a watch with a rating of 3 stars.
Being a human is the worst. Mosquito! I got him! Johnny, wait!
The last movie that I wanted to check out is an indie film starring Adrien Brody, and that is Clean. Clean is a 2022 action film starring Adrien Brody, Glenn Fisher, and Richie Merritt. A former violent man, Clean has to return to that life in order to save a family. Writing and starring in this project, it obviously means a lot to the former Academy winner Adrien Brody, who does a lot more acting through his looks than through his dialogue. Consider the bad part of that though. The script is incredibly thin and it lacks originality. Well, we didn't really need originality to have fun or just a very good motivations or violent actions. The family that Clean has to protect is a decent reason, and the old man and little girl who needs protecting combo rarely fails. Unfortunately, the action is very poor and we rarely distinguish anything because of the way that it was shot. I think that the character of Clint could have been even more interesting. You can tell that he was a man that you don't want to mess with. There are often scenes where we see his regret for the life that he used to live, and those are great, but there are also some stupid scenes with unnecessary slow motion that just drag the pace. The casting of Glenn Fisher was outstanding. He is a very despicable antagonist. There could have been a good movie here. Instead, we only get an okay one. So our recommendation is that you should not give this movie a watch with a rating of 1.5 stars. By the by, I've been the movie guy, and until next time, keep on watching movies, guys.
What's going on? It's cold.
Grandma's out. I left my key inside.
You hungry?
You know, we don't need anyone to save us.
Just trying to save myself.